Hello there, my name is Pavlo Stelmo and now we will unveil the top news of recent days. December has begun, which means that everyone is starting to sum up the year. We will also wrap up some results, in particular regarding the Ukrainian military campaign in 2023. Obviously, the defense forces of Ukraine are getting stronger, gaining invaluable experience in combat operations, mastering the latest weapons and equipment. Even in the conditions of delayed and insufficient supplies of weapons, military equipment and ammunition by the Allies, Ukrainians launched a counteroffensive and achieved a lot at the front. The success of a counteroffensive is not measured only by kilometers of troop advance. Ukrainian soldiers managed to inflict colossal losses on the enemy, exhaust his reserves, disrupt logistics. At the same time, attempts of enemy offensives in several directions were repelled. During 2023, the defense forces opened hostilities on the sea front, inflicted a series of painful defeats on the enemy fleet, and secured a sea grain corridor without the participation of Russia, gained an important bridgehead on the left bank of the Kherson region. Unfortunately, 2023 did not bring the long-awaited liberation to many enemy-occupied towns and villages in eastern Ukraine. Therefore, work on this task will take place next year.
We are preparing a vigorous continuation of December and an active beginning of the next year. Ukraine will fight for its own interest, for the fair interest of every free nation, because when we can defend ourselves, it strengthens everyone else in the world who, like us in Ukraine, values freedom and the international order.
Let 2024 be the year of victory and freedom and democracy, and of course complete the occupation of Ukraine. On December 6, the draft law on providing assistance to Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan did not pass a procedural vote in the Senate of the US Congress. US aid is necessary for Ukraine, not only to restore the territorial integrity of our state, it is an indispensable component of the victory of democracy over lawlessness and terror. Ukraine highly values the unchanging position and significant contribution of the USA to ensuring peace and security in Europe. That is why it is regrettable to observe the inability of the Congress to reach a consensus on a matter in the successful completion of which the entire democratic world is interested. We hope that the draft law on aid on Ukraine will be put to a vote again in the nearest future, and the US Congress will approve a package of defense, budgetary, humanitarian and energy support for Ukraine in 2024, before Christmas.
If Putin takes Ukraine, he won't stop there. It's important to see the long run here. He's going to keep going. He's made that pretty clear. If Putin attacks a NATO ally, if he keeps going, and then he attacks a NATO ally, well, we've committed as a NATO member that we defend every inch of NATO territory. Make no mistake, today's vote's going to be long remembered, and history's going to judge harshly those who turn their back on freedom's cause. We can't let Putin win. Say it again, we can't let Putin win. It's in our overwhelming national interest and international interest of all our friends. Any disruption in our ability to supply Ukraine clearly strengthens Putin's position. We've run out of money to be able to do that in terms of authorization.
Currently, the USA has announced the provision of another package of military aid to Ukraine in the amount of $175 million, which includes ammunition, vehicles for towing and transporting equipment, equipment for the protection of critical infrastructure facilities, spare parts, etc. In an address to the US Congress, President Joe Biden said that if Putin is not stopped, we will see how the American military will fight against the Russians. Ukraine's victory is also a matter of US national security and global security in general.
Composure and firmness, regardless of who, where and how they voted in any country in the world, we will not stop defending our country. We will not give up a single piece of our land, and we will not forgive anyone killed or injured. We will focus, draw conclusions, reload our weapons and continue to destroy the Russian monster. Every day, with every hard but necessary lesson, we grow up and become stronger. We have realized that despite the human progress in the world, force is once again becoming the top priority. And that's why the defense forces of Ukraine are and remain our best guarantor of security, a reliable insurance against the threat of becoming hostages to the volatile political situation, and failure to fulfill our international security commitments. Alexei Danilov, Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, on social network X, formerly Twitter.
For many people, Russia's attack on NATO countries seems impossible now, but its attack on Ukraine once seemed just as impossible. And right now the Kremlin is preparing Russian society for war against the West in the same way as they were preparing for a war with Ukraine before that. This is not blackmail or bluff, this is preparation for open aggression. The West should not underestimate the Russian military potential. The war in Donbass and the Azov region is a training ground for the acquisition of advanced experience which the armies of the West do not have. Military and financial aid to Ukraine is not spending on Ukraine, but investment in peace, security and preservation of life. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated and subscribe to our UATV English channel on YouTube for more news from Ukraine. Your support is that really matters. Goodbye.